Everyone, it's Kerr with Child's Nature. I'm going to start a series with you on how to grow language with your kids. This is developed for an early intervention language group where children mostly age 2 to 3 years old, so between the ages of 2 and 3, some of them slightly younger, come to a language group every week and learn with their parents and with some typically developing peers how to grow their language skills. I am there as a speech-language pathologist, as your facilitator, and I want to give you the skills you need to help grow language in your kids week by week. It's a 6-week cycle, and the very first week we learn about something called engagement, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So before we can grow language with our kids, before we can really get the words out of them that we're wanting to get out of them, we have to have engagement. So the way to do that is by following your child's lead. And the very first tip I give to you guys as parents for this particular week, and realize that this is for when you have time to sit down and play with your child. So it's not all day every day, because that's not realistic, but a couple times a day for 5 minutes here and there, or maybe a little bit longer. If you have a little bit longer, I want you to find some time to play with your child. And what you're going to do is follow your child's lead. You're not going to ask your child any questions, and you're not going to give your child any directions. That's super hard to do. And the reason we do it is really just kind of a self-awareness activity, so that you start to realize how often that we bombard the kids with questions and bombard the kids with telling them what to do. And we have to do that during the day. There are many situations where we have to give them a direction. We have to ask them a question so we understand what they need. But we need to save those times for times we really need it, whether it's safety or whether it's time they have to get in the car, or it's bedtime or something where you really need them to cooperate. That's when you can give them directions. But when it's playtime, and you truly have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to play with your child, I want you to drop the questions and drop the directions and only do what your child is interested in doing. And so that could happen anywhere. It could be at the park, in our language group. It's going to be in our group setting where your child chooses where to go. It might be the kitchen. It might be to play with cars. It might be to play with Play-Doh. But this is also very, very applicable in the home setting. So just sitting down to play with toys with your child. And you are going to quietly sit down with your child and play with them. You don't necessarily have to be using a whole lot of language. And I certainly want you to, if you do say something to them, just say something about their play. Because you want to prove to your child that you're super interested in what they're doing. And once you show them that you're interested in what they're doing, they're going to start to watch you a little bit more. That's when we have engagement. That's when we, if we have that foundation, can start growing the language. On another episode, we'll talk about behavior, but realize that we cannot work on any kind of language or any kind of growth and development if behavior is a struggle. So anytime that behavior comes into question or becomes a challenge, we have to revert back to working on challenging behavior. So we'll go through a series of strategies of how to work on challenging behavior with 2-year-olds. If that does become an issue for you, drop all your expectations and just figure out, why is my child behaving like this and what are they trying to communicate? So assuming behavior is under control, then you can go ahead and practice these play strategies of simply playing alongside your child without asking questions and without giving directions. So you can notice and respond. If you can't ask questions, what you can do, you can notice and respond. So if your child is pushing their car, you can say, "Ooh, look at the car." Or you can say, "Here comes my car," because you're going to be playing cars with them too. So you're going to notice if their car crashed. "Oh, it crashed." You're simply going to narrate like a good storyteller what is going on in their play. But you're not going to do it too much. So make sure you wait a little bit for them to take a turn and look at you, or hand something to you, or put their hand out to request something to you to show their turn in that play to make sure you're still engaged. Otherwise, it might just be you talking about something and they're not really in it with you. Likewise, you want to make sure you're more talking about their play for the things you do say, because you, again, this week is just about showing them that you are interested in what they are doing. So you're going to play and engage. You're going to comment or notice what they're doing and respond to that. Take turns with that commenting, take turns with playing, and anytime your child makes some type of communicative attempt, and again, that might be through behavior, or it might be a gesture, a facial expression, body language, it might be eye contact, or it could even be words. But whenever your child makes an attempt at communication, I want you to respond with acknowledgement that you realize that they just made an attempt towards communication. Okay, so that's your homework this week, to engage with your child 5 to 10 minutes, a couple times a day, only doing what they're interested in doing, where you really show them that you're interested in their play and you have time to play with them on their terms. Good luck, and we will talk about it in group.